Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel The Woolly Hugs. I'm Vidisha and today in this tutorial we are going to make this ocean breeze vest which is a very beautifully textured and is in beautiful colors. I have used royal blue, sky blue and white for my vest, and this tutorial is going to be in size XL. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. And also for other sizes, please look into the description box below where you will get sizes from XS to 3X. Thank you so much for coming by. Let's start making. So for this project, I'm using this Ganga Soft and Strong medium category 4 weight yarn. This is 100% acrylic yarn and I got it from Magic Needles. I will put a link in the description box below. So I'm using royal blue, sky blue and white colors, and you will need two hooks, 4.5 mm and a 5.5 mm hook size, scissor, tapestry needle, stitch markers and a measuring tape. And after chaining 11, in the second chain from the hook, so this is the first, second chain from the hook, I'll make a single crochet and I will make single crochet in all the chains across. So this is my last chain and I'll make a single crochet on that as well, and now I have 10 single crochets. Now we will chain one, turn our work and make a regular single crochet on the very first one, going in both the loops, and single crochet in the back loop only. So this is the front and this is the back loop. So single crochet in the back loop only in the next 8 stitches. And this is my last stitch, and I'll make a regular single crochet on my last stitch as well. And I'll chain one and turn my work again. Again, I will make one single crochet, regular single crochet in the first, and single crochet in the back loop only, all across till I'm left with just one stitch, in which I will again make a regular single crochet. So we have total 10 single crochets on each row. Regular single crochet in the last one, chain one and turn. So for the ribbing part, you will only be repeating row 2 and 3 for the specified number of rows in white, and then we will switch to blue and work few rows in blue and then in dark blue. So for my size, I'll be working 26 rows in white, 26 in light blue and 26 in dark blue. So once I reach my 26 rows in white, I will come back, join and show you how we are going to switch to light blue and then to dark blue. So work the number of rows specified for your size in white and then join back and we will switch to our next color. So here I have worked 26 rows, and this is the last stitch of my row 26, which is a regular single crochet. So I will insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I will not finish this stitch with white. I'll grab my next color, which is this light blue. So for my size, I'm going to work total 78 rows of ribbing. So 26 is in white, and now 26 rows I will be working in light blue. So I will complete this last stitch with this light blue color, and I will chain one, and I'll also tie a knot. Yeah. And I'll cut my white yarn, which I'll weave in later on. And now I'll simply work my ribbing in light blue color the way I was working till now. And also this is my front side of the ribbing, so I'm also weaving in my tails while making single crochets. If you want to, you can do this, or you can later on weave in your ends like so. So now I will be working 26 rows in light blue color, and then again I will switch to the dark blue color and work another 26 rows in that dark blue color. So once I have completed my 26 rows in blue and then the other 26 rows in dark blue, I'll join back, and then we will start working on the main body of our front panel. So now I have worked my ribbing. So I worked 26 rows in white, 26 in light blue, and 26 in dark blue, and this was my last row, 26th row, and this is the right side of my ribbing. So I will to reach at this point and start the main body of the front panel. I will slip stitch on these 10 stitches. So I have chained one, and I will slip stitch in each stitch across. Now once I've reached to the top, I will chain one, and I will change my hook to 5.5 mm. And now we will make a foundation row of single crochet, and we will be picking one stitch for every row. So I will pick 26 single crochets in dark blue, change my color to blue, and 26 in light, and then 26 in white. So I will show you how we are going to do that. So to pick the stitches in the very first row, so this is already, I've chained one, and in the very first row I will make a single crochet. So this is one. In the next row I will pick one more, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for every row pick one stitch, and you should have for this size you should have 26 single crochets in dark blue. Like so. So I will pick my stitches till here, and I'll join back and show you how we are going to change our color to light blue. So here I have picked 25 single crochets, and I'll pick one last on this. So I will insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I will not complete this single crochet with dark blue. I'll leave it here. I will not cut it as well because now we will be working with 3 colors together. So I will not complete the stitch with blue color and I leave it as it is. And I will grab my next color, which is this light blue, and I will complete my single crochet with light blue. And I will tighten this up a bit. Okay. Now I'll pick up stitches from the light blue. So this is my first single crochet. 2, 3, 4. So I will again pick 26 stitches in light blue. So you will have to refer to your size, how many stitches you need to pick in each color. So once I pick my stitches from light blue, I'll change my color to white, and then I will pick stitches in white. Like so. So now I have picked 25 stitches in light blue. This is the last stitch that I'll pick, 26th, and I am not completing my single crochet. I'll leave this blue yarn as it is attached. Don't cut it. And grab my next color, which is white, and I'll complete the single crochet in white and just tighten it up a bit. And now I'll make my first single crochet in white, and I will now again pick total 26 stitches in white. So complete this row, and once you reach to the end, I'll join back and we will start our pattern. So this is my last stitch in white. So I've picked 26 stitches in white as well. So for my size, I have now total 78 single crochets. For next row, I will chain 3 and turn my work. Also move the yarn with you so that it does not tangle with each other. And now we will start our pattern. So I will make a puff on the very first stitch here. So I will make a puff in the very first stitch. I'll insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again I will yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 4 loops on my hook. I'll yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops. And now I'll chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and in the next again we'll make a puff. So insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again yarn over, insert my hook in the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all the 4 loops and chain 1. Skip the next stitch. Now skip 1. In the next, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook again in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all the 4 loops and chain 1. So this is our repeat for this row. We will make a puff and a chain 1. We'll skip 1 stitch and again we'll make puff and chain 1, skip 1 stitch, a puff, chain 1, skip 1 stitch. So continue across till you reach to the last stitch in white color, and then I'll join back and I'll show you how we are going to change our color. So I have completed the white part and I'm left with 3 stitches in white. So I will skip 1 stitch and I'll make a puff in the next. And now I will not chain 1 in white. I will leave this yarn because this is the wrong side. I'll leave the yarn in the front and grab my blue yarn, and I'll complete the chain 1 in blue like so. Just tighten it up a little, and then I'll make my first puff after skipping 1 stitch in white. I'll make my first puff in this first blue. Chain 1, skip 1, puff stitch, again chain 1, skip 1, puff stitch, chain 1, skip 1. So continue across till you reach to last 3 stitches in light blue, and then again we will switch our color to blue. So now I've completed my row in blue and I'm left with last 3 stitches. Again I will leave my yarn on the front side because it's the back side, and you'll always leave your yarn on the front side of your work when you're working on the wrong side. And then you'll work next puff in this blue one. Sorry, I still need to complete this puff. Okay. Now I'll leave it on the front, grab my dark blue, and I'll complete the chain 1 in dark blue, pull it, and now I'll skip 1 last stitch in light blue and puff in the dark blue. Chain 1, skip 1, puff, chain 1, skip 1. So continue across till you reach to the end, to last stitch, and then we will move on to row number 3. So I've now reached to the end and I'm left with last 2 stitches. I've just made my puff and I've chained 1. Now I'll skip the last stitch and make puff on the last stitch of the row like so. Chain 1 and chain 2 more, so total chain 3. Now we will turn our work. For row 3 I will make a puff on this very first space, so not on chain 1 but the top stitch of your puff. So this is the space where I'll make my first puff. And I'll chain 1, and then this is the chain 1 from our previous row, and this is the puff that we made, and this is where we are going to make our next puff. Chain 1, again I will make puff on the top stitch of the puff from a row below. So this is the space where I'll make my next puff. Again I'll chain 1, and then again this space, in this space I'll not make a puff on this. This is the chain 1 space. This is the space created by our puff, and here I will make my puff, stitch, chain 1, skip this space here and go to the next space, puff stitch, chain 1, skip this space, and in the next space make a puff. So we will continue across to the point where you need to change to the next color, and then I'll join back and I'll show you how we're going to change the color. So I'm left with last 2 stitches in blue, and I just made my puff and chain 1. So in this space here I will make my last puff in dark blue, pull through all the loops on my hook, but I'll not chain 1 with dark blue, and I'll leave the yarn on the back side because this is our right side. I'll grab my next color, which is this light blue, and I'll chain 1 with light blue, tighten things up a bit, and then in the next space, this where we made our puff, this space, I'll make puff stitch and chain 1, skip this space, and here next to the puff I'll make a puff stitch, chain 1, skip this chain 1 space, and here in this gap where we made our puff I'll make a puff stitch and chain 1. So now continue across in light blue color, and then again we will change to white. So for my size I will have 13 puff and 13 chain 1 space. Now I've reached to the end. I have to skip this space here, and in this I will make my last puff in light blue, and I'll not chain 1 in light blue, leave the yarn to the back and grab my white yarn, and I'll chain 1 with white, and then I'll start working in white. So once I complete this row, I'll join back and show you how we are going to again move to row 4. So I've reached to the end of row 3 and I'm left with 2 stitches in white. So now my last puff is going to be in this chain 3 space here. In this space I will make my last puff and chain 3 and turn my work, and again I'll make my puff in this very first stitch of the puff from the row below, chain 1, skip this chain 1 space, and I'll make a puff on top of the puff from row below. Again skip this chain 1 space and a puff stitch. So it's a easy 2-row repeat. We are simply making puffs and chain 1 and skipping 1 stitch in between. Be mindful of the color change, and on the wrong side you will keep the color, the yarn that you're not using on the front side, and on the right side you will put it at the back side, and at the end on the last stitch you will make a puff and chain 3 and turn your work. So it's a very simple 2-row repeat. So repeat for the number of rows specified for your size before we start our neckline. So I have now worked total 48 rows in my size, and now we will be decreasing for our armhole, and this is my row 49 and with the right side of the work facing me. So I chained 3 So we will be decreasing total 4 stitches on the decrease row, and 2 on this side, 2 at the end. So we will skip the first 2 stitches. This is a puff and a chain 1 space, and in the next puff on top of that we will make our first puff stitch. And chain 1. So you will simply follow the pattern till you reach to the last 3 stitches. So work across in the pattern till you reach to the last 3 stitch, and then I'll join back and show you how we are going to decrease on this side. So I have reached to the end of row 49 and I'm left with 4 stitches. I've made my puff in here and I will be leaving these 2 stitches unworked, and I'll make my last puff skipping 1 stitch here. And I will chain 3 from here itself, and I leave these 2 stitches unworked for the next row. So for row 59 we will simply follow the pattern. We will not be decreasing on any side, so this is a no decrease row. So simply work on the pattern the way we worked till now, without any decreases on any side. And once I am done with row 50, I'll join back in row 51 and we will again decrease 2 stitches for our armhole. And I made my last puff in this space just after the chain 3, the puff that we made in our row below. I'll make my last puff there, and now I'll chain 3 and turn my work. And now again for row 51 we will decrease 2 stitches. We will repeat what we did in row 49. So instead of making my first puff here, I will leave this and the next stitch, and I'll make my first puff in this one. I'm leaving this first stitch and this chain 1 from a row below and working my first puff in this space. And now I will follow the pattern till I am left with 4 stitches in the end, and then again in the end I will leave 2 stitches unworked. So complete row 51 just the way we did in row 49. So I've now reached to the end of row 51 and I'm left with 4 stitches here, and I will skip 1 stitch and make my last puff of this row on this one, and I'll leave 2 stitches unworked. So now we have created decrease for our armhole on both sides. Don't worry, this will look just fine when we will work on the ribbing of our armhole. And now you will simply repeat for my size. You will work till row 74 repeating the pattern, and then we will join back and make our decreases for the neckline. And for all the other sizes, please refer to the pattern, how many rows you need to work before we work on the neckline decreases. So I will join back after I've done my total 74 rows. So I have now reached to row number 75 and I worked total 74 rows, and now I have put stitch markers where we will be shaping our neckline. So for my size, I have put stitch marker on the 25th stitch from both sides, and now I will simply be working in the pattern for row 75. till I reach to the point where my stitch marker is, and then we leave the stitches of the stitch marker for the neckline opening, and we will chain and work on the next row. So once I reach to that point where the stitch marker is, I'll join back and then we will work on row 76. So here I have reached 2 stitches are left before the stitch marker. I have to change my color. So the way we were changing colors, I made puff in white and then I chained 1 in my next color, and I'll make my last puff here, skipping 1 stitch like so, chain 3 and turn my work. After turning my work, I have again I will make a puff on the very first stitch in this same blue color, and I will chain 1 with my next color, which is white. So I will leave the blue, I will chain 1 with the white and make my next puff in white. So I've reached to the end of row 76, and I'll make my last puff in this chain 3 space, in chain 3, turn my work again, and now I will simply be repeating row 75 and 76 till I am at row 84. So for this size I will be working total 84 rows, and after 84th row I will fasten off and leave a long tail, which we will use later on to seam the shoulders. So just repeat row 75 and 76 for the desired for the specified number of rows for your size. So I have now worked total 80 rows, and now I will cut my blue yarn, leaving a small tail which I'll weave in later on, and I'll also cut my white yarn, leaving a long tail which I will later on use to seam my shoulders. So now we will start working on the other side where our stitch marker is. So I will be joining my light blue yarn on the side. So I will make a slip knot, and this is my stitch marker. I have 2 stitches in blue. So on the first stitch after the stitch marker, I will attach my blue yarn, chain 3 and make a puff stitch here, chain 1, I'll make a puff stitch here, and now I will leave my blue yarn and I will grab my dark blue and chain 1 with my dark blue, and now I will follow the pattern. Now you will just work the way we worked for the other side. So this is my row number 75. So work 75, 76, 77, 78, 79 and 80 for exercise. So total 80 rows we have for this size, and I have just started 75. So work till 80 and then fasten off, leaving a long tail. Then we will join back and I will explain how we are going to make our back panel, and then we will move on to joining our shoulders. So here I am done with my front panel, and I also started working on my back panel. So this is my back panel. So please be very careful that you have to match the colors for front and back panel. So this is the right side of my front panel, and I started the ribbing with dark blue and then light blue and then white. But for the back panel we will start with white and then light blue and then dark blue, so that the blues, the same colors are on the same side when we join both the panels. So for the back panel you will work similarly as you worked on the front panel, and I decreased for the armhole exactly where I decreased for the front panel. So we will decrease on row 49, 50 will be a no decrease, and then again on 51 I decreased. And for the front panel we worked total 81 rows, and we started our neckline decrease at row 75. But for the back panel I have already worked 78 rows, and now I have put stitch marker on the 25th stitch from both sides, and now I will only work 2 rows, leaving these stitches in between for the neckline opening. So you will simply follow the pattern just the way we did for our front panel. So now I have completed my back panel, and now we will join our front and back panel. So with the right side of the work facing each other, and also your same colors should be on one side, we will line up both the panels. So this is right side which is facing each other, and the wrong side is facing me, and I will join the shoulder with my 4.5 mm crochet hook. And now I will be going through this chain 1 space, and slip stitch, and then on top of the puff and slip stitch. So you will be going on each stitch of both the panels and slip stitch or single crochet. And for my size I have 24 stitches on shoulders. So continue across till you reach to this point, and you've covered the number of stitches that you left for your shoulder. So now I have joined both my shoulders, and now we will start joining the sides of our vest, and we will start from the ribbing, and this side I will join with my dark blue color. So I'll make a slip knot and go in the first stitch of both the panel. Pull up a loop and pull through, the loop on my hook, chain 1, and now I will go in each stitch of both the panels and make a slip stitch, just the way we joined our shoulders. So once we complete the ribbing part, then we will work the body, and we'll work till we reach to where we decreased for our armhole. So join the sides from the ribbing to the armhole, and then we will do the same on the other side, and then I will join back and we will work on our ribbing of the arms. So with the right side of the work facing you, so I will join my yarn where I seamed my shoulders, and we will make a row of single crochets. So I will single crochet in the next puff, and then in the next chain 3 space, then again in the next puff, and in the next chain 3 space. So make single crochet around for this row. Once I go around and reach back from where we started, I'll make a slip stitch on the first stitch of this row. So work a single crochet row around, and once I'm done with row 1, I'll join back, and then we will start working on the ribbing. So now I have reached end of row 1, and we started our first single crochet from here. So I will slip stitch on that stitch, and also I'm working on the ribbing with my 4.5 mm hook. We will use 4.5 mm for the ribbing for the hem, sleeves, and also for the neck. So now I'll chain 5, and in the second chain from the hook I'll make a single crochet, and I'll make single crochets across, and I will have 4 single crochets, and then I will slip stitch on the next stitch to end this row, and slip stitch on the next to start the next row. Turn my work, and now I will make single crochet in the back loop only in the next 3 stitches, and a regular single crochet in the last. Chain 1, turn, regular single crochet in the first one, and single crochet in the back loop only in the next 3. Join at the base with a slip stitch, and also a slip stitch in the next one to start the next row. Again turn your work, single crochet in the back loop only in the next 3, and a regular single crochet in the last one. Chain 1 and turn. So you will be working like this all around, and once you reach to this end you will be joining both the ends. And a small trick that I want to share with you is sometimes the sleeves ribbing might ruffle. So to avoid that, when you slip stitch, you can sometimes slip stitch on the next 3 stitches instead of just 2, and you can do this 3-4 times. Then the ruffled look will not be there, and it will look quite nice and nicely shaped. You can see this is the ribbing that I've already worked on my sleeves on one side, and I slip stitched thrice at times. So I think I did that 6 times in total all around. So you can do that if you feel that your ribbing is having a ruffled look. So carry working on the ribbing for the sleeves, and once you reach here, I'll join back and then we will join both the ends together. I have worked around the ribbing and now I've reached the point where we started. So I need to join the edges together. So I will just join it, and this is the wrong side. I've chained one on this side and I will go in the first stitch of both the edges and slip stitch. And the second one. And this is the last fourth. And now I will simply cut my yarn and I'll weave in my tail later on. So we are done with our sleeve ribbing, and now we will work on the neck ribbing. For the neck ribbing, I'm using the same light blue because this was my center panel, and I will join my yarn anywhere on the neck. So I'm joining it here on the shoulder seam. And I'll make a single crochet in the very first space and in the next one on this chain 3 space, and next on the puff. So I'll be making single crochets around for the first row, just the way we did for our arm ribbing. This is the front side, so we'll work on each stitch, making one single crochet. Work a row of single crochet all around, and once I reach to the point where I started, I will slip stitch on the first single crochet of this row. So I've worked all around and I've reached to the first single crochet of this row. I'll slip stitch and chain 5 and make a single crochet in a second chain from the hook and across. And I'll slip stitch on the next stitch at the base, slip stitch again in the next, turn, single crochet in the back loop only of the first 3 stitch, a regular single crochet on the last one, chain 1, turn, regular single crochet on the first, and single crochet in the back loop only in the next 3. Slip stitch on the base and slip stitch again to start the next row. So work like this all around, and once you reach there to the point where you started, you will again join both the ends just the way we joined at our armhole ribbing. So here I've completed my vest and the neck is also done. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please do like, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you are notified of my future tutorials. And also, if you have any suggestion or you want to see any pattern for me to make, please do comment below. I will be waiting for your comments and it will really motivate me. Thank you so much for coming by.